We've battled with Red Bull for victory in the last two races. We came out on top in the last race. Let's see what happens when we lock horns this time around. Hello everyone, welcome back to F1 Manager. My name is Aaron and I'm managing Mercedes. Today we've got a slightly different vibe to the video. It's a post-edit voiceover that I'm doing right now because I've been a bit under the weather. I'm not sure if you can tell from my voice. We did win the last race as I'm speeding through this, showing you. Here's the constructors' standings heading into today's race in Imola. George Russell third in the Drivers' Championship, 20 points now ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So today's race in Imola, but first of all we've got some operations facilities upgrades. Everything was starting to be a little bit worse for wear, not so effective. But our car has been effective on track, and hopefully if we have a look at the car analysis for Imola, we will be effective around the historic circuit. We need a little bit more on top speed, which might hurt us in this race because there's the big long straight with the DRS zone. So we're going to jump straight into qualifying, and we've actually saved lots of sets of soft tyres here for Q3. 4 sets we've got because we got through Q1 and Q2 using the same set of tyres. Is there anything else noted down that I should be telling you? Not yet, but let's go into the first flying laps in Q3. George Russell quicker than Lewis Hamilton in the first sector. George obviously riding high off the back of that win in Miami, which if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. Russell, another purple sector. We're the first cars to set flying laps here, and George doing a good job. Hamilton crosses the line first at 13.1 for him, 13.1 for George Russell, 16 thousandths of a second separating the two drivers. Into their final lap of qualifying then, and is Hamilton leading the way on the track. That's Russell getting a little bit of traffic. Hamilton with an improvement in the first sector. Remember, we don't tend to improve very much on our final runs, really. Russell signifying that with a yellow first sector. Hamilton does a purple middle sector. This could be a great opportunity if you can hook up the final sector. There is some traffic of an Alpine, which I'm guessing is Ocon, and that's not helpful. And Hamilton doesn't improve. George Russell, can he pull anything out in the final sector? He cannot. We remain third and fourth at the time, but then Max Verstappen goes quicker and bumps us down to fourth and fifth. Sergio Perez takes another pole position, and we move to Sunday for the race. My initial thought was to go medium hard, so we could use the hard a little bit more towards the end of the race. But then I thought about it, and we have those soft tyres that we'd saved. So we've got 2 sets of softs, brand new softs to use. And a 2-stopper does become quicker, as we showed last season in Imola, if there's a safety car or a virtual safety car. So that's kind of my thinking there. If we end up on the hards and there's a late safety car, we're sticking a set of fresh softs on, underfueling, set all the driving options, and we're going to get ready to go. I'm going to have some water to stop my voice dying midway through this. I think we're ready for a race. An all Red Bull front row then. 5 red lights and the race is on. Let's see if we can get the jump on Leclerc, who's in third off the line. Perez holds the lead, and our drivers are very close together. This is hot off the heels of their collision in Qatar. Please don't crash into each other, lads. I don't want to go through that again. They're actually side by side still. And Ocon is there, just the annoying Alpine again. Hamilton looks like he's got his nose ahead. We'll ask him to drive in clean air, see if he can get past Leclerc.
Got every chance here.
The Red Bulls seem to be scampering off. And Leclerc just, either he's driving on his mirrors or he's not very fast here. Hamilton's sneaking ahead again. We're still side by side. Our drivers have been side by side the entire lap. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And Leclerc is holding us up. We need to get through him very quickly. And I'm just going to ask Hamilton not to attack his teammate here. There's powers of resistance, says George Russell. Hamilton has dropped back from his teammate, who's immediately on the case in terms of getting past Leclerc. Is there an opportunity into turn one? No, not yet, not yet. We're on the softs and Leclerc is on mediums. Now I can tell you that Perez started on softs as well as we cut to lap 4 and Leclerc cuts Russell off literally at the pass. It's a slightly late move there. I think the stewards would be having a look at that in real life. We're momentarily into third position. Can we make it stick? Through Villeneuve and into Tosa. I think Leclerc's going to hang on to it. We've asked George Russell to harvest some energy so that we can hopefully just blast past on the straight. And we cut to the start of lap 6 and we do exactly that. DRS and a lot of battery, and that's P3 for George Russell, and that frees up his race. And a couple of laps later Lewis Hamilton does exactly the same thing, and that moves us to 3rd and 4th. And so immediately we are looking to get after the Red Bulls, and we have essentially made it a 4-way fight at the front. So Perez still leads, and Verstappen is swarming all over the back of his teammate. Verstappen started on mediums. So really Perez should be scampering off into the distance, but you know, it's Sergio Perez in a Red Bull. He's not going to be doing, you know, too many virtuoso performances, is he? And we're quite happy to sit there. We've asked George Russell to save some fuel. I think Hamilton is doing the same behind him. We're just managing tyre temperatures. That's all we need to do. And we'll jump forward here to lap 22. The pit window is now open. And I was considering an undercut here with Russell. And Verstappen's finally got ahead of Perez, whose tyres are falling off a cliff. And we don't need to worry about an undercut because George Russell pulls off this overtake around the outside of the two Ravazzas. So a superb job for George Russell there. Hamilton in a tricky situation with his tyres. We need to make his tyres last a lap longer because Russell is going to be able to box first, as they're literally on the same strategy. Perez dives in on lap 23 and Hamilton, because he spent a lap behind Perez going slowly, is now really under pressure from Ocon and Leclerc. Ocon having a great race for Alpine. There's Perez leaving his pit stop. And while all that was happening, George Russell has taken the lead. George Russell now leads the, I want to call it the San Marino Grand Prix, but it's not. It's the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.
Yes, Fox.
And he boxes at the end of that lap. Hamilton has lost the position to Ocon and is under pressure from Verstappen because his tyres are now wearing out. Decent stop for Russell. And he comes out ahead of Perez. So the overcut working there. He's actually come into a bit of traffic behind Kevin Magnussen. But no matter. Adetosa, he pulls this sublime move through Piratella. A wall of death around the outside of a high-speed corner with very little room for error. Hamilton boxes followed by Leclerc, who's actually on the mediums. And that was earlier than I thought it would be for the medium-tired runners. And Hamilton's race kind of unfolding here because he's been jumped by Leclerc in the pit stop. And all that lost time means he has come out in an absolute ton of traffic. Russell is 6th and Hamilton is 14th. That's the difference getting stuck behind Perez made and boxing a lap later. Talking of boxing later, Ocon and Verstappen come out just around George Russell. Verstappen just in the lead. Ocon essentially in a net 3rd position, but Perez right on his tail. Hamilton not making much progress. He is stuck behind Piastri and can't make any gains on Leclerc or anything towards the Red Bulls. But George Russell has a great opportunity to go for back-to-back victories here. All he needs to do is shadow, I suppose, Max Verstappen here. And what we need to be careful of is falling out of DRS range. And Verstappen has a little bit more tyre life because he pitted 1 lap later. So it's really important that we manage our tyres. And Imola is a circuit, as you can see on the graphics down the bottom, we can't go aggressive on the tyres for too long. Some circuits we're able to. Imola, not one of them, because the tyres just overheat and then they wear out. And you lose too much time going for a two-stopper. So it's really important that we make the tyres last. And here, to make sure we stay in DRS, we're having to attack. But fortunately, we do stay in the DRS zone or range just as Russell sets a 16 flat for a fastest lap of the race. And so moving to lap 36, Hamilton has closed down Leclerc, having got through past Lando Norris. But at the front, George Russell is hounding Max Verstappen and not letting him have an easy time of it. Hamilton sizing up the overtake on Leclerc. We're going to jump on board with the winner of 104 Grand Prix in this universe at least, and going to have a look at getting past. In fact, I think George Russell has got past Max Verstappen. So at this point of the race, Russell was conserving fuel and on low overtake aggression. And with DRS, the improvements we've made to our car in terms of the DRS effectiveness, he just blasted past him. So we continued to save fuel because we underfueled and we had to do quite a bit of fuel saving. So we knew that this would happen, that Verstappen would come back past. But we had the pace to stay with the Red Bull and just sit in the DRS zone. And Hamilton saving fuel as well, but just stuck behind the Ferrari, which really wasn't ideal because Leclerc wasn't catching Perez, who's stuck now behind Ocon. So you'd think that Leclerc would be able to close that gap. A few laps later, Hamilton's dropped back because we harvested some fuel, and Russell's still within DRS on Verstappen. So it was about saving that fuel, making sure we could get to the end. Lap 44, appropriately, Hamilton having another look at Charles Leclerc on board again with the Ferrari. And this time, he gets the job done. Several failed attempts built up to this, but we made sure we had lots of battery, being aggressive on the tyres. So I harvested into turn 1 here, but at the same time as Hamilton going past Leclerc, Russell takes the lead again from Verstappen. There was a lot going on in this race, so it was difficult to keep up with it. But it was just about managing the tyres, making sure we didn't overuse them, especially with Russell, and give Verstappen that advantage to just go and get in front and disappear and use that tyre to build a gap that we wouldn't be able to bridge. So it was just about sitting there and saving fuel. And as you can see, we've got to 0.4 of a kilogram below target, and they're flip-flopping positions at the front, side by side again, into the chicane at the top of the hill, still side by side. You don't really see them go side by side through there in real life, but whatever. So Verstappen will have DRS, will harvest because he'll probably come past, although he's decided to take the less optimal line down the straight. Hamilton, meanwhile, is closing the gap. See, Perez has left Leclerc behind. Ferrari in the early stages of this season don't have the pace to challenge us or Red Bull. Once we get past them, they are not able to keep up with us. They showed that in Miami, and they're showing it again today. Verstappen again challenging Russell. Does he get past this time? I think he does, but we are harvesting energy to make sure that we have an opportunity in the final 10 laps to make the move. Perez has got himself back up into third place ahead of Ocon, and Hamilton is closing that pair down. And here's Russell a couple of laps later. He's going to take a little dive bomb into Tosa hairpin, and he'll take the lead here I believe, from the Dutchman. So it just kept changing. They kept overtaking each other, not just with DRS as you're seeing here. It was, moves into the hairpin. It was moves, they were side by side a lot. And here we go again, wheel to wheel through Villeneuve. Russell has the inside line, the magic inside line of F1 Manager. And Verstappen, in fact, hanging it around the outside of Piratella and making that move stick. But it's fine. We've got lots of battery and we're prepared to make our move. And we're going to do that exactly now. We're going to go aggressive on the tyres, drive in clean air. Because this could be our moment. With the DRS down the straight and the deployment, we'll have a little bit more of a gap and momentum to pull away. And this, I think, was the moment we went for it. To try and break that DRS window. It's what you see them do at the start of the race, isn't it? Get outside 1 second, purple sector for George Russell. So as I'm sorting out Hamilton, just look at the gap to Verstappen. It's 0.9 of a second. Just setting Hamilton up as well for an attack on Perez. And Russell, crucially, gets past that 1 second margin. So Verstappen didn't get DRS to make an attempt to retake the lead. He's still close enough to be a problem, but we've got tyres enough to get to the end, so we can go aggressive and push with the tyres and make the most of it. Hamilton swarming all over the back of Perez. It's not worked out for Hamilton today. Again, it didn't work out for him in Miami. Russell now 2 seconds clear. Hamilton having to save fuel towards the end of the race here and harvest some energy. And that's not helped him. But yeah, it's just a phase of the season at the moment. Russell is in great form. He's now leading this race comfortably by 2.5 seconds as Hamilton still brawls out with Sergio Perez, who's moving all over the place to protect his position. Is Hamilton going to go around the outside as George Russell starts the final lap here at Imola? We've got no battery to deploy. I left him in deploy the whole lap, and we could have made the overtake there, really, if I'd managed Hamilton's battery a bit better. And of course, this battle means Ocon is actually on the podium. There is the Alpine just ahead, and Hamilton still can't find a way through. Just checking in with George Russell, everything all going fine there. Hamilton doing absolutely everything he can to try and find a way past the Perez Red Bull. The only thing he's not doing is pushing it off the track. But let's tune up the band, because we're going to have to get the national anthem playing. George Russell wins the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix for Mercedes. He beats Max Verstappen in a straight fight. Esteban Ocon takes a podium for Alpine. Hamilton comes home 5th. More good points for the team. And does this put George Russell into the championship hunt? That's back-to-back wins for George Russell. His third win of his career, the third win for us as the Mercedes team under my stewardship. And yeah, we are probably... Well, let me know in the comments, do you think we're in this championship hunt in both the drivers and the constructors? Big celebrations in the paddock. High fives all around. Lots of celebrations in the garage. I'll raise a glass to that. Verstappen looks about as happy as he normally does, finishing second. Big cheers for George Russell. He holds the trophy aloft as the winner of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And the confetti can fly. National anthems are ringing out. I haven't put them in at this time of recording. I will put them in a moment. For the second race in a row, we are victorious at Mercedes. And there's your result. George Russell wins by just over 3 seconds. Hamilton finishes where he started in 5th. Russell now just 30 points behind Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton, if he wants to be a factor in that championship, needs to win a couple of races pretty quickly. We close the gap a little bit to Red Bull. So thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate my voice hasn't been the strongest, and the edit, looking back at it now, I'm happy it's told the story, but it's not the same as a live commentary, that's for sure. It was much more difficult to put it together, to know which bits to include, because when you're there sort of driving the game, if that makes sense, I can be telling you exactly what my thoughts are, but post edit, a lot more difficult. So appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. That's what makes you the best fans. I'll see you for the next round in Spain. Give the video a like, subscribe for more F1 Manager content. I'll see you in the next round. Bye for now.